Well, here we are again, Tyler.
Here we are.
I'm one of your hosts, Justin.
And I'm the other host, Tyler.
Yes, you are. Still.
I've been watching Resident Alien on Netflix, and I think I found my spirit animal.
Okay. I've never seen it. Is it worth watching?
You know what? It's pretty dang good. Yeah.
So today we're going to do the Kinks, and You Really Got Me. What is your history with this song, Tyler?
Ear burn.
Really?
Yeah. This song's got some ear burn. Mostly because it seems to me that just about every boy that learns how to play guitar learns how to play this song. And I'm not sure why. I haven't been a big fan of this song. It's a really good song, a good metronome song for helping you learn to keep a beat, right? Do 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 do. Yeah, over and over and over again for 5 minutes?
Yeah, about three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going to differ, but
Okay.
I do like this song. But let me get a little history about the Kinks first.
Uh-huh.
So they were formed as a rhythm and blues rock band in 1963 by brothers Ray and Dave Davies in London, England. They're actually one of the original British invasion groups.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they gave all those groups a run for their money at the time. Very popular, especially in England. You've got Ray Davies on vocals, Dave Davies on guitar, Pete Quaife on bass, Mick Avery on drums. The funny thing about the Kinks is they did have a lot of influence on other bands, as every other band did at the time. I mean, we've talked about it numerous times, how the bands kind of, would you say, competition really drove the music to a higher point. Everybody taking inspiration from everybody. But they had huge influence on bands like The Who and early 70s heavy metal and hard rock. A lot of their later music took on many aspects like folk, country, punk, etc. You've got a lot of influence bands from the Kinks like the Ramones, the Clash, Blondie, Van Halen. Keep naming them. I mean, there's a ton of them. And like the Rolling Stones were at the time in England, they were basically some of the first white musicians to explore and play rhythm and blues. It just wasn't a common thing at the time. These guys went in feet first, head first, whatever you want to call it. They had a lot of success from 1966 to 72, but then they had problems as a band, mainly in the 70s. The brothers have always had problems getting along with each other for some reason, but a lot of personal issues between those two. From 77 to 85, they had kind of a revived moderation of success, and they had a little bit different style of music, playing more to the music style of the times, not so heavy. You know, I don't really consider them heavy, but when you listen to this song,
This song's a little heavy. Yeah.
It's, for 1964, this is a heavy song.
It is. Yeah.
Without a doubt. All in all, they've released a total of 24 studio albums, 6 live albums, and 33 compilation albums. And 6 albums they released hit the top 50 in the UK. 3 albums were in the top 10. They had the Kinks and Kinda Kinks both hit number 3 in the UK. That was their highest charting albums in the UK. They had 5 albums in the top 50 in the US. Kinks, their debut album, reaching number 7. It was actually their highest charting album in the US, is number 7. So it's kind of strange because they didn't have a lot of chart success, but we see that from a lot of bands that are more popular than their chart success. And 5 of their compilation albums have actually hit the top 10 as well. So they've done well with the compilation albums. 2 EPs hit number 1 in the UK, which Kink Size Session and Quiet Kinks, they both hit number 1 in the UK. In the UK, they had 19 singles that were in the top 20. They had 3 number 1 singles. This song, You Really Got Me, Tired of Waiting for You, and Sunny Afternoon. In the U.S., they had 7 singles in the top 20 with Tired of Waiting, which was in 1965, and Come Dancing, clear in 1982, both hitting number 6. Those both were their top singles in the U.S., number 6.
That's surprising because these are some big songs.
Yeah, they're big songs. You've got some of the other ones like You Really Got Me hit number 7 in the U.S., All Day and All Night hit number 7 in the U.S., and Lola hit number 9, which those are all popular songs, but I don't really put a lot of weight into chart success anymore. I mean, especially when you read about these bands that are so influential and been around so long and have so much good music. And there's bands we've talked about before that have never had a number 1 single. Led Zeppelin's a good example.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Kinks, Lola is a very kinky song.
Yes, it is.
By the Kinks.
So all in all, the band has sold about 60 million albums worldwide, which isn't too bad. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990. And the Davies brothers continued to tour together until 96, even though the other original members had left the band. But basically, all their differences really done them in. Without a doubt, they're one of the most influential bands of the 60s and all time. I mean, the Kinks have got some... I really enjoy the Kinks, and I'm not a deep diver into a lot of their albums. I haven't been in the past, I should say, but I'm really starting to delve more into their albums, and it's some music I really enjoy.
These guys have a very recognizable sound, and they're very popular. So the fact that I've got earburn on them and I'm not digging them, that's on me. I don't mean to kink shame anybody in this world. Please don't allow me to yuck on your yum.
Fair enough. So, do you want to get to the song review?
I do.
And now it's time for the song review.
So, of course, today we're doing the Kinks and their single, You Really Got Me. This was released in the UK on August 4th of 1964, and they waited until September 2nd of 1964 in the U.S. for some reason. I don't know why they do that, why there's so different releases. Those aren't too far apart, about a month, but...
They send it over on a boat.
Must be, I don't know. The B-side of the single was a song called It's All Right. So this song reached number 1 in the UK, and like I spoke before, number 7 in the U.S. When the Kinks recorded this song, the brothers Ray was 22 and Dave was 17. So they were pretty young when they recorded this song.
Yeah, no wonder there was sibling rivalry, because Dave's the baby.
Yeah, Dave's the baby.
Mother always loved Davey best.
So this was recorded in July of 1964. It had Ray Davies on vocals, Dave Davies on guitar, Pete Quaife on bass, and session musician Bobby Graham on drums. Future drummer Mick Avery actually played the tambourine on this song because I guess producer didn't think that he was ready to play drums. I don't know why, but they actually first recorded this as a slower, bluesier version, and they were not happy with it, and so they re-recorded it. But this song was produced by Shel Talmy. I've never heard that slower blues version. I'd be kind of interested in hearing it.
It would be interesting to hear, because I can't imagine this song any slower than it is, because this song, like I said in the beginning, it keeps your tempo better than any metronome.
Yeah, I agree. So this was written by Ray Davies. He had actually come up with the main riff on his piano, of all things, which is kind of strange, the way they worked that in. But the song's about watching girls dancing in a club. I guess this happened to Ray. But the vocalist, Ray, is so infatuated with this girl, I guess, dancing in the club, that all he can really manage to say is she's really got him, because she had him. You know, his tongue was tied. He couldn't say anything. And that's kind of where this song come from.
I'm surprised he didn't refer to her as a chick.
And the one thing about this song that's really special and I think really groundbreaking is it's really the first big hit song to use distortion of any kind on the guitar. And Dave Davies really got that sound on accident. He had thrown a fit like he does. He had cut the speaker cone on his guitar amplifier with a razor blade, and it gave it this fuzzy sound. You know, and this is before guitar fuzz pedals were around. It was a year or two before they come around. And so it was pretty impressive, this sound. I mean, it's kind of funny how things like that are born out of accidents or whatever.
Throwing a tantrum.
That's what I've read. Don't know if it's true. It's just something I've read. So
that's funny to me.
I mean, it was never intended, but once they heard that sound, they had to put it down. This was the Kinks' first hit song. It was actually their third single released. Their first two actually had flopped. I believe, I'm not certain if this is correct, but I know at least one of the first two was a cover, if not both of them. But this song really hit it big for them.
Can you imagine like other bands hearing that fuzzy guitar sound? All right, we got to figure out how they did that.
And we talk about that with a lot of songs, is how certain things are put out by somebody and then another band grabs it and does something different, sometimes better with it, you know, and goes forward. But I mean, this song really kicked off their careers. I mean, after this song came out, they were on TV, they were in magazines, and they soon started opening for the Beatles. So it pushed them into success pretty quickly. So this song's been covered by a lot of bands, probably most famously Van Halen covered this in 1978. I know Van Halen played a lot of Kinks songs in the early gigs, so obviously the Kinks were a huge influence on Van Halen among a lot of other bands. Funny, too, because if you listen to this song and their next hit song, All Day and All the Night, which I really love that song, too, it's basically the same song, just rewritten with different lyrics.
That is funny that you mentioned that, because now when you think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different sound, but it's basically the same beat and the same pattern. But it became a hit as well. And a lot of people credit this band, more particularly this song, as being the beginning of heavy metal and early hard rock. And you can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, with the guitar, this song is guitar through and through. Why don't you tell me what you think fully of the Kinks? You Really Got Me.
All right. So it opens with that electric guitar, but very shortly after that brings in the tambourine, the drums, and the bass all to back it up. I'm prejudiced against this song because of the ear burn, but really it's a pretty good song. It's got, really good sound to it. It's got a unique sound to it. It's unique in that this is the first time it's been heard, but it's certainly not the last time it's been heard, because I swear every TV show I've seen, every movie I've seen, any kid that's learning to play the guitar is playing this song. I don't know. I've just never really dug this song, but whatever the word is, it's a good, heavy, steady beat. I get what the singer is singing about, and I think we've all been in that situation where you see your crush out there who's dancing around, and the way that she makes you feel, it just takes your breath away, and you can't find the words for it. All you can think of is, wow, you've got me. They captured that in a song, and I think that's beautiful. I love the sound of it. I love the way that the instruments blend together. So I'm throwing away my prejudice and saying this song it's a really decent song, and it deserves to be as popular as it is. I'm wrong. All of you guys are right. And I really like the ending. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, end. There's something so simple and basic and yet masterful about that. And I really like the ending. What do you think, Justin?
I disagree with you on having ear burn on this song, because I don't hear it that much. And I would think I'm not wrong in saying I listen to a lot more radio than you, a lot more. I mean, I'm probably deeper into it than you are. And although I hear this song and it is in commercials and TV and movie and stuff, I've always loved this song. I think for me, because of how much I love guitar-driven songs, this is kind of the roots of that, the beginning of that. You listen to this song cranked up, and the guitar is absolutely amazing in this. For 1964, I mean, you know me, that I love the Beatles, I love the Stones, I love that kind of music. This is when the Beatles were hitting too. This is nothing like anything the Beatles were doing.
No, and yet you can see how this gave birth to Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen, you hear his, how it influenced him.
Well, and I wouldn't say just him. I would say any guitar-driven groups, because the intro and main riff that goes throughout, although it is monotonous, without a doubt it is, but I think that's what makes it special, because it's so heavy and dirty sounding, and that's something you didn't have at the time, and I think it's absolutely amazing what it birthed into for other bands. And the one thing that I think surprisingly done well on this song is you hear a lot of those early to mid 60s songs, and they're not mixed very well. This one's mixed well. The guitar sounds straight up front, the bass is good, the drums aren't that bad. Ray Davies' vocals in this are strained perfectly. I think he's got a perfect singing voice in this. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know, the solo in it, in the middle that Dave Davies plays is a damn good solo. And I don't know how many people put Dave Davies as one of the best guitarists of all time, but I think he could be severely underrated in what he's done here and what he's birthed here. It's just, to me, one of the raunchiest early songs you can hear, and I think that stands on its own. But I don't suffer any of the ear burn that you're speaking of on this song. When this song comes on, I crank it, and I've always loved the song. Now, the Kinks, for me, are really different, because they do have songs like this, but they veer completely other places too. When you go to Lola, you get into even to some of their 80s stuff like Come Dancing. It's a lot different. They're a very interesting band. I think they're more British than most of the British bands, especially when you get into their later 60s albums. And they're a good group, but I just don't suffer the ear burn on it that you do, and I always enjoy hearing this song. Do you want to get to the song rating?
I think so. Let's rate it.
Song rating.
If this is your first time listening, we have a rating system that goes 0 to 10, 0 being absolute garbage, and 10 being so dang good that I have to go out and buy it. So this song...
Now be honest.
I will be honest, okay? Because I do have a tendency to be influenced based off of other people's opinions.
Yeah, it's like you don't think I'll let you out of my basement if you don't give it a decent assessment.
Well, you did block up the window, and so I don't have
good point.
Yeah.
But I'll let you out regardless of how you rate it.
That's very kind of you. I just don't want to be thrown out. I'd like to come back next week, too, if it's available. My honest rating on this, it is north of the 5, the smack dab in the middle, not much north. I give it a 6. I recognize that this is a hit song, and to you people that are swearing at me listening to this podcast right now, you're right and I'm wrong. Okay, I'm on your side here. I am very wrong to give this a 6, but that's where I give it. I rate the song right after we listen to it just for that purpose, so that I don't allow my rating to be influenced by other people's opinions. And I stand on it. This is a hit song. It's great, but it's not me. I have that ear burn with this song, hearing it all the time, so many places. I'm not so bent out of shape by this song that I'm gonna put it south of a 5. But I'm putting it north of a 5. It's good. I like that, having listened to it this time, that I understand it a little bit better, and I like learning a little bit more about the Kinks. I love that story, whether it's true or not, about Davey cutting the guitar cord in order to get that fuzz.
You mean the guitar speaker?
Or the guitar speaker? Yeah. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. I love that story, and I hope that it's true. I really want him to just be the spoiled British brat that didn't get sprinkles on his milkshake, and so now he's going to throw a tantrum and cut his speaker. So where do you rate this one, Justin?
Like I said before, I love this song, and it's right down my alley with the kind of songs, 60s music with heavy driven guitar, and I think this is the first song that really started that heavy guitar, especially the fuzz era and things like that. So I enjoy it a ton. I rate this song a 9 without a doubt. One of my favorite songs. I love hearing it. I love the Kinks all the way around. I love the different music they have, and this one will always be on my playlist. A damn good song. But if you agree, disagree, or whatever, let us know. ClassicVinylPodcast@gmail.com. And once again, we really appreciate you giving us a chance and listening to us. We know there's a lot of podcasts out there, and more specifically, there are a lot of music review podcasts. So if you are listening to us, it means a lot. But until next time, see you later.
See you. Thank you so much for listening to Classic Vinyl Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Classic Vinyl Podcast for updates, and also share us with your music-loving friends.